the largest spectrum, like, you know, your neighbors and, you know, kind of just the people in your surrounding area and some surrounding areas, you know, is all kind of part of what I think of as like my community. Cool, so my name is Gray. I'm the co-owner and roaster at Solar. So what we do here is we roast coffee that we also serve in-house and source out to a couple local coffee shops as well. We get coffee as a raw product. It's green when we get it, so if you didn't know, coffee starts out green and you know, changes color into the various spectrums of like tan to black with like a lot of rich shades of brown in between, and that's what I do. We all know that, you know, everybody drinks coffee. You know, you say that kind of flippantly, but it's like almost true. Like, most people drink coffee, so a lot of it gets used, you know, and if you think about how many bags of coffee, how many cups of coffee, however you do it, you know, whether it's instant coffee or, you know, like an artisanal whole bean coffee that you grind at home like what I sell, think about how many cups of coffee you go through in your house and then just kind of multiply that by basically every household on the planet. And, you know, every coffee shop and every gas station and every movie theater. I mean, you can get coffee basically anywhere that has a register. To put it really simply, coffee is graded on a scale of 1 to 100. Anything that is below 80 points is a commodity product. And then anything 80 points and up is considered like specialty grade coffee. I roast exclusively specialty grade coffee here. Most of my coffee is going to rate a minimum of like 85 and up into like the low to mid 90s. I don't think 100-point coffee actually exists. It's one of those things, there's no way to possibly achieve perfection. So my coffee tends to be like a little more expensive than some other local roasters that use more of like a lower grade of specialty coffee or more into the commodity spectrum. But personally, and you know, I have the support of a pretty large community that would agree with me, you know, it shows up in the final product. I roast coffee to profile. So basically, when I charge a batch of coffee, my intention isn't to come up with a shade or to like chase after, you know, like more like macro traits like body. You know, I'm gonna try and roast each batch to where I can highlight the most complexity, the most nuance of origin. I'm generally trying to, in that pursuit, I'm trying to kind of highlight acidity, complexity in like the craft food and craft beverage industry overall is driven by acidity. Acidity is what creates complexity in basically everything that we consume. People tend to think of it as like a negative trait in coffee. There are other types of acidity that occur in coffee, but when I speak of acidity, I'm talking about all those little nuanced flavors like apple or grapefruit or blood orange or hibiscus. All those flavors come from acidity. When people get heartburn from coffee, it's usually because it's like a dark roast that has, you know, that's probably had some oils break down and drive up negative acidity, which is the free fatty acids that I'd like to say that you know, I'm pretty proud of the fact that we don't do any of that type of roasting here, and you'll never have that sort of chemical breakdown in a cup of coffee that I serve, because I just simply don't put coffee into that spectrum where it becomes so dark that it's starting to, you know, migrate those oils out. That's not where you find the complexity. At that point, you've broken down all the positive acids and created new negative acids, and it's just totally kind of counter to what I do here. I guess that's about it, man. I've always wanted to do lot of different things. I mean, when I was a kid, I think I wanted to be like a zoologist, and I probably wanted to be like an astronaut, and I wanted to build race cars, which is something that I do, you know, and still do, and it's still, you know, something that I'm trying to develop and pursue more. I think maybe I wanted to be a